Oh, yeah.
You make me smile. Seems like the world completely stops when you're near.
Let's double check the tech.
At least for a while.
Go.
Girl, my cloudy afternoons are so
Alrighty, look like we are live. Hopefully we are good to go on both YouTube and Facebook. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. So glad that you are here. Welcome to another Friday night with your friends, your family. And we are talking about financial, and it's Friday, right? So let me go ahead and make sure that we are good to go over here on Facebook. Let me make sure we got comments, because comments is going to be important for tonight. Hold on one second. Let me make sure.
Make it hard for me to entertain the thought of someone else under me. To compare to your stare, they gotta be something, baby. Cause I know that they don't make them quite like you. No, I have to tell myself I don't want nobody else. Cause he sent you for a reason. It's so easy believing that the sun will never shine till your presence parts the skies. Is this love that I'm feeling? I'm in love with you. Come on. Come on. Feels good, right? Girl, I think I'm in love with you.
Hey, better. Okay, it's gone. So now I know what was the culprit. I'm going to try to make sure we keep that low. Hopefully it doesn't stop our guest speaker this evening, which I'm super excited about. Now that we got the echo out the way, glad that everybody can hear me. I see you. I appreciate it. Hopefully we good to go, man. So, whew, it's always something, right? Again, nephew's in the building. We go and put him back on cam so we can see him. There he is. Look at him. There he is, Chris, your favorite nephew, live. He got to say something to the mic. Your mic is on. Say something to the people. You live now.
I can't really hear myself. Hold on.
Well, that's why I gave you headphones to put yourself on.
No, I can't hear out the headphones. You muted me or something.
I didn't mute you. You should be good now.
Hello? Nah, I can't hear myself. The headphones tripping or something.
Whatever.
But, hello, family. You know, I'm back. School's hard. You know, I had a lot of work to catch up on. But I'm back. I know you miss me.
Whatever.
Yep.
Whatever. Anyway, let me get him back off. Let me put myself back on it, man. So tonight, I don't want to delay anything because we have a very special guest joining us this evening. Super excited to have this special guest on here. We know her as Miss Gimme Cornbread. Oh man, and just so you know, I'm gonna put this out here. We always normally try to go at least an hour, right? And that's what the normal time frame is. But she is bringing such valuable information to us during this, what she's going to present. So I'm not putting no time frame, no time limit, because what I feel, what she's teaching is extremely important. To me, what she's teaching us tonight can help us both in business and in life if applied properly. So if it so happens to go beyond the normal time frame, then by all means, so be it. It's going to go there. If I'm just putting that out there. A lot of, you know, if you have questions, like I said last week when we was talking about facing it, I told you if there was something that you were challenged with, bring it to tonight's session, because based on what we're going to learn, I'm guaranteeing that if you're bold enough, I'm gonna put the phone number out there so you can give us a call, so you can talk to her, so you can ask questions live and direct, because what she's going to show you, I'm sure, can help out. So let me go ahead and click a few more buttons so we can make sure that she is here, she is ready. Just give me cornbread, you know, give me thumbs up if you're ready now. All right, she gave me the thumbs up, so let me do this one thing here. I'm gonna switch some things out. So I'll make a few clicks so she can see me. I'm gonna make sure we do this. All right, yeah, so we good. I'm getting ready to go ahead and introduce to everybody, to the world, Miss Gimme Cornbread. So let me go ahead and put her on. Here we go. We ready? Look at that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Can we hear you? Let's do a mic check. Can you say something so we can see if we hear you?
Hello.
Oh, there we are. All right, we have audio. How about in the chat? Let's double check everything. I want to check in the chat. Can you hear Miss Gimme Cornbread? Christian, that's on you because I can't see anything. You got to let us know.
Oh, I can hear, yeah.
Well, there's people in the chat say that they can hear?
No. I mean, nobody commented anything yet.
Nobody's good. All right, well, we good. So again, family, so happy to introduce, to welcome. Look who's here. Finally talking about she was nervous. She didn't want to do it. Oh, she like, hey, oh, come on. She's here, thank God, through all of your encouragement, Miss Gimme Cornbread, as she's known as. But on the business side, this individual, this lady is absolutely amazing, mind-blowing, right? She is the, matter of fact, here, I know I have a title for it. There she is. Miss Donna A. That's her real name, Donna, the founder of Brilliant Technical Writing. A technical writer, for those of you who do not know what a technical writer is, all of the manuals, all of the policies and procedures and journals that show people processes on how to get things done, that is technical writing. And she is a technical writer, but way more than that. SEO, process mapping, blog writing, right? All kind of other things that makes her extremely valuable. And I'm so glad that she decided to be on the show. So let me stop talking about you, Donna. Why don't you go ahead and say something to the people yourself, you know?
Well, hello, everyone. And I am really happy to finally reveal myself. I hope others follow suit in the future. I hope I'm not the only one who ever does this. And thank you, Tyrone, for inviting me. I think we're going to have a really good time tonight. I know when a lot of people hear technical writer, they wonder what is that, or it sounds really boring, but it's not. And everyone needs a writer in their life. That's Absolutely. My motto. Absolutely. And what we're going to go over tonight is process mapping. And what a process map is, it's just a tool, a very simple, elementary, basic tool. You don't need any special training to create a process map. And it's so simple, and it's a shame that more people don't use it. It's just a tool to help you solve a problem, to plan a project, to make a decision, and I'm real excited to share this information with you tonight. So Tyrone, when you're ready, I'll share my screen. I put a very short presentation together for us. And Christian is going to help with comments because I can't see them. I'm going to be focusing on the presentation. So Christian, please help out. And please ask questions, participate. And then after the presentation, I have a whiteboard, and I encourage you to call in or comment with a problem you're having or something you're trying to work through. Let's map it out together. Let's do it live. Let's engage, and let's work through things together. And so please, I encourage you, think of something. I know that was your homework assignment from last week, but if you didn't do it, you have time because I have a presentation. So think of something and let's get through it. I mean, and one point that Tyrone brought up is that, if I'm a sole proprietor, what is my process? Okay, I don't have employees. I don't deal with managing people, but yes, you do have a process, and it does involve multiple roles because you are dealing with your website provider. You're dealing with your credit card payment provider. You're dealing with your bank. You're dealing with a link, with your supplier. So don't think that just because you work alone that you don't have a process. Everyone does, and everyone can benefit from this. So I'm ready to share my screen. Everything is good to go?
I'm,
All right.
I'm ready when you are. Let's do it.
All righty. Okay, so here we go. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, I do believe so. You're good to go.
All right, great. So here we go. Process mapping. Drive the process, or the process will drive you. So think about that. Think about that. If you're not in control of the process, you will be driven by a process that you might or might not like. So take control. So here we go. So about Brilliance, I started technical writing as a freelancer part-time in 2015. I was working in corporate America at the time, and I started doing this part-time initially as a way to help pay my daughter's way through college, and decided that I really liked it. And it was a friend who encouraged me to pursue this. And so I recently started full-time in August this year. And my services include process mapping and analysis, policies and procedure writing, regulatory governance writing. And governance writing is just aligning policies and procedures with regulations. So for anyone who is in trucking or healthcare or any regulated industry, writing the policies and procedures to conform with the regulations is called governance. Digital marketing, software user guides, operations manuals, web content. I help people prepare for audits and inspections. I helped a company prepare for a PCI DSS audit, and consulting and training. And about me, and this is a picture of me on the right and my niece on the left. And I included her because I hired her to help me with my Instagram. So she's sort of my employee. She's kind of like my Christian, who I am working with and training, and she does a really good job. So I have over 20 years experience in technical writing and governance, and other experience includes information security, governance, and certification. I did work in that field for a period of time. I have an MBA in telecommunications management from the University of Dallas. And the fact that it's called telecommunications management tells you it was quite some time ago, because this degree has changed over to information security. BA in French, minor in biology. I'm just a person who likes to learn, obviously. Master Gardener intern, and I've worked in some well-known corporations: Charles Schwab, Chase, Fidelity Investments, Oliver Wyman, and some others.
Look at all that.
So now that you know about me, let's get into the topic. What is a process map? Very simple. It's just a visual diagram of the steps in a process. And again, it's a simple tool, and it helps you do all of these things. It helps you increase efficiency, reduce waste and frustration, identify opportunities, set expectations, write your procedures, provide training, improve communication, and plan projects. And what's the purpose of a process map? Well, the purpose is to look at the who, what, where, when, and how, and then at the end, analyze the why. And so a process map uses a universal set of symbols so that anyone who picks one up understands what it's talking about. And this is at a basic level. There are several different kinds of process maps, but at a basic level, these are the shapes, and this is what they mean. Makes them easy to understand, and each symbol represents an element, like a process, a decision, a terminator, which is a start, end, document, predefined process. And the most common symbols are the terminator, the process, decision, and the predefined process or subroutine. And so there are several tools you can use to create process maps. Most of the tools on this list are free. The only two you need to pay for are the Microsoft products. On the others, you can get a free version. It's not as good as the paid version, but you can have access to a free version. Glyphy is an extension on Chrome. So there are tools available. And after the presentation and after our chat tonight, I'm going to work with Tyrone to post these in the description on the video so that you can access these URLs. And lots of resources. You know, I listed these for you to help you, you know, learn about process mapping, because I really believe in it. And this last link is a link to a YouTube video, The Big Bang Theory, where Sheldon creates an algorithm for making friends. If you like The Big Bang Theory, I like it. So there's some examples here of work that I've done that I want to share with you, just to sort of illustrate a few points. So the first one that I'll open up is I'll open up a completed process map that I did for a school district. Let's just open that up. I have to pull it over. Are there any questions so far?
Not yet.
Christian? All right, awesome. Okay, so here is the process map I completed for a school district. And it's I know in Texas, any government entity can receive a request for information. Anyone from the public can request information. And we had a problem there with people requesting copious amounts of email. So I sat down with several stakeholders and mapped this process out so that we could make it more efficient. And so what I want to show you on this is a swim lane map. And if you'll look on the left, you'll see the different roles involved in the process. So there's a customer, that's the person who requests email data, a records officer, attorney, auditor, records officer. So the records officer works in this swim lane alone and also in conjunction with the attorney and the auditor, and then a server administrator. So this is, you know, it looks very simple and very straightforward, but it took us several weeks to arrive at this. Wow. to this finished product. But that's just an example of a process map. So that's one example. And so I'll move on to one that is almost complete, but not totally complete. And it's for a pipe fabrication company. And I want to point out how a process map can identify an issue in a process. Oh, that's really tiny. Okay, let me make it a little bigger for you. Okay, so let's see. So this company fabricates huge pieces of pipe that refineries use. So, and they're called spools. And they're just these huge, heavy pieces of pipe, and they're called spools because the ends have flanges. And that's how they attach the pipes to each other. And one of the issues they were having is how to load the truck with the pipes and everything that goes along with them, like, you know, the materials you need to send to the customer so they can attach the pipes together, and other things that they ordered. And one of the things that we found out on this process map is that there's a shipping coordinator here who does all of these tasks. And I don't know why my arrows are showing up like this, but I think it's because I'm pulling this up on Dropbox, so I apologize. It's like doing something weird. There, you can see them now. So this shipping coordinator, you know, determines if the spools are ready to ship, creates, you know, the delivery ticket. And you can see here, this delivery ticket is the document shape, and it's following every step of this process. So the shipping coordinator, who does not load the truck, is determining what goes on the truck, and it doesn't ask any questions about it, just sort of goes along with the process. And then when you get here to the loading supervisor has to figure out if the spools and related items can fit on the trailer. Now, this is the person who knows what can fit on the trailer, but this person is not involved in determining what's going on the trailer. So that's one problem. You know, that's something that process maps reveal things like this, you know, and here we go, the loading department loads the trailer, which can take several hours because they're trying to figure out how to make all this stuff fit on there. And, you know, it's just probably time wasted. You know, this could be more efficient. And, you know, that's one thing that I wanted to show you here. So let's go on to the next one. So this last example, well, it's not the last one, the second to the last example is a process map that I'm currently working with a customer on, and I do hide all sensitive information. So you know, there's nothing being revealed privately here that, you know, that they wouldn't want revealed. But I want to show you what it looks like when it first starts. So, and something that we discovered. So this is a month-end process. Okay, I'm not going to zoom in on this because we don't need to. What we found out here, without even, so none of the shapes are not really connected. This is still a work in progress. But what we found out without going any further, because I was working with the accounting manager to create this, she stopped and said, will you look at this? Look at all of these tasks that I'm performing, and I have an accounting clerk, and this is all that she's doing. So this is another thing that is revealed by going through the exercise of completing a process map. She never thought about all of the things that she's doing here. I mean, I don't know, I'm not going to count it, but I guess it's like 12 different tasks. And she has an accounting clerk hired to help her who's only, you know, doing these things. So, you know, that was something that we were able to see. And the last one is a different kind of process map. It's called a Chin diagram. A lot of software developers use this, and I'll just show it to you. It's kind of cool, actually. So this is a Chin diagram, and what it is thinking through a credit card transaction on a website. And you'll notice that it uses this decision diamond, but in a Chin diagram, it's not a decision diamond. So if you look here, you'll see that here's the website. Here's a transaction that happens. The transaction redirects to a URL and a pre-configured or a parameter. And then it goes to this embedded hosted page. And that's where, you know, the sale happens. And then there's an approval or a decline. And then there's variables in this table here. And then it returns to, through verification to the website. Then the final transaction happens and it executes via an API. So that's a different kind of process map, just to show you like the different kinds that exist. So those are the examples that I have. Are there any questions?
Not yet? No? Okay. No, we still live.
Everyone's saying it's well organized and it's amazing information, though.
Yes, this process maps can help you to be organized and help you to think clearly and logically. And it you know, they take all the emotion out of a problem. When you're just looking at it in black and white on a screen or on a piece of paper, you know, it takes all of that feeling out of it and all those other things that cloud your judgment because you're just forced to see what is actually happening. As Tyrone says, it's an aerial view. It's like a drone looking down, you know, on something, and you can see how it's laid out. So I guess I just asked if there are any questions, but if you have any.
If you don't mind going back to that first example, the one I think you said it had the swim lanes in it.
Sure.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, you look easy to you. That look like that's a process. But I guess before I ask my question, I just want to clarify real quick. You know, since this is your lane tonight, I am the student. I'm learning here. Would you say process mapping is like the same as a business model? Is that almost what it is, or is that something completely different?
There is a type of process map called BPMN, and that's business process modeling. So there's a specific type of process map for that. There's lots of different kinds. This is a basic one, just a sequential order basic process map in a swim lane, but there's a specific discipline of process maps called business process modeling.
Oh, wow, okay. So my question is, the swim lanes, right? Like these swim lanes represent a team or different people, right? Like these
Different. Hmm.
like every one of those individuals, like the records officer, the attorney, auditor, and all those are different people, and the swim lane shows what they're responsible for.
That's correct. The swim lane shows the roles and the responsibilities in this process.
Okay. So how does that? So what if you don't have a team? I know we kind of discussed this earlier, but I just want to revisit it because, what if it's just you, the sole proprietor, the single individual? How do you like? What would those swim lanes represent?
Well, everyone has a customer.
True. True.
That's here. Um, and you interact with there's different roles that affect your business. So let's just say that one day you have a customer and they go to your website, they want to buy your product, and the website's not working correctly, or that you gave them a coupon code and the coupon code is not taking the discount off on their product. So the customer contacts you and wants to know what's going on. And so you have to deal at that point, the roles involved in your process are the customer, you, and your e-commerce provider, your website provider,
Uh-huh.
So those are three roles in that process, because if you issue coupon codes to a customer, you definitely want that to work at checkout. You don't want your customers to abandon the shopping cart. So, those are three roles right there. I can even use myself as an example. I have customers, and something that happens to me a lot is that they will ask for one thing, but then when we get into the work, it's a lot more than what we originally discussed. So a lot of scope creep happens. And so, that's between me and the customer. That's a process that I have. You would have if you're trying to get a grant or some kind of loan from the bank, you have to deal with the bank. That's a role in your process. Suppliers, where do you get your supplies from? Do they come from another country? Do you receive them locally? What is the shipping that you have to pay on those? And do they send your products on time? Like how long does it take to restock? These are all things, it could even help you decide, should you stick with that same supplier or find a new one? Are they too slow, or do they ship you damaged product? You have to look at these things, and sometimes, you don't even know, you can't even pinpoint why things are just not working. You just know that there's a lot of people involved in things, or there's like a few people involved in, and just things just don't seem to be working. You don't seem to be making the profit that you want. You're busy all the time, or you're not busy enough. And all I have to say is just lay it out on a process map. And I guarantee before the process map is complete, you're going to see what the problem is.
Wow, wow. So in your experience, when you've mapped out, like you said, you've worked for some major companies, right? You've even in this example, this is obviously a real example from a real company. How much improvement have you seen from the time before you got involved to after?
Well, it's up to management to implement any improvements.
Hmm.
So I've seen both situations. I've seen where, it's like, oh, that's really nice. Thank you for showing that to us. To it taking a long time, but eventually happening, to immediate improvement. So it's all over the place because, as you know, in a corporation, you have limited power what you can accomplish.
Right. I mean, yeah, you give it to them, be like, all right, I've done my work. The rest is on you, right?
Mhm. But usually, like this organization that came to me and I helped, they wanted a solution to the problem because these data requests were taking up all of their time, and they weren't able to focus on their regular job, and it was just becoming just ridiculous. So this was something that needed to happen. And everyone, we met in the conference room all together several times to hammer this out, and really forced people to talk through what they're really supposed to be doing, because we found out there were redundancies. There were like people were not reading these data requests correctly and making more work for themselves. They didn't even know how to respond to them, and the attorney and the auditor couldn't figure out how to split up their responsibilities, because attorneys don't want certain things to go out, and auditors like to have a clean paper trail. And I mean, that was a big huge discussion there, because attorneys are like, wait, what are we giving people? And then there's also the law, the law that allows customers to ask for this information.
Right.
So it took probably took us like 2 months to do this, I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay. So one more question again. I'm asking if nobody else is asking, because I want to start using process maps in my business, because I can see how when you visually see things,
Oh, we got a
you
question.
can kind of see what's happening. But Christian said we got a question, so I'm gonna let him put that out there, and I'm gonna wait.
Maria asks, it's like a timeline to deliver service and product efficiently. Do we start the map with a problem or an issue?
Good question, Maria. Do we start the map with the problem, or do we start it with the issue? Yeah, how do we start this map?
You have to look at what triggers the process. So here, the trigger is a customer submits an email data request.
Okay.
That kicks off all of these events that happen after that.
So do we follow the arrows? So let's say, let's follow this map. The trigger is the submission of an email request. Mm-hmm. And so we know that, right? Like that's the problem. That's what we want to resolve, is what happens when somebody submits an email data request, right?
What is the best process for handling? Yes.
Okay,
mm-hmm.
so what is the best process? What's the best process for us as the business, and the best part for the consumer as well, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so based on this process map, we start there, right? Submit email data request. That's somebody that submitted it. And then we walk and go through, so we follow the arrows, right? That's the whole thing. We got to follow the arrows.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Mm-hmm. So based on this, the data gets submitted. Then the records officer has the next step.
Correct.
Okay. And so the eternity, so if I'm looking at the swim lanes, right? So the submit gets request, then the records officers are involved. And so the attorneys don't come back in until, what is it? How many steps do we say?
Until all of the email data has been collected and sort of compiled, then they review in a tool called Discovery Accelerator. Mm-hmm. So they're like the final reviewers, and they all sit down and make sure that they have a file that they can share with the customer.
Okay.
Yeah, because your attorney and your auditor would not be the one putting these emails together. That's not their role. Their role is to sort of bless it before it goes out the door.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Okay. So we start with the issue, I guess, yeah, and figure it out. Mm-hmm. I mean, because really that's what we create process maps for, is for the things that we're finding to be challenging, correct?
Correct. Well, yes, but not all the time. Sometimes you offer a service and you find yourself explaining over and over again to the customer, which this is an issue, I guess, how you accomplish the service they're paying for. They know they want it, but they don't understand everything that's involved, and they've got a million questions about, well, what do you do here? What do you do there? So it might be helpful to create a very polished, customer-friendly process diagram that you can just give to your customer. And that can be for a process that's already established, that doesn't have any problems. You already know how it works. But the issue is that your customer just based on your explanation or your website or your whatever they think, that they don't understand what you're going to do. Like, let's just say you're a power washing company and you wash people's houses. Okay. So your customer might want to know, well, when you come out here, are you going to tape up all of my security cameras and protect my stuff? And are you just going to spray everything? And what kind of solution are you going to spray the house with? Is it water? Is it soap? Or, how long are you going to be here? What, are they going to clean the roof too? So you can create a diagram that tells them exactly what you're going to do and just give that to them in advance.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
Got another question.
All right. Speak on it.
Maria also asks, what triggers the process? In other words, what stops the flow of your business?
I'm sorry, you were echoing a little bit.
She said, what triggers the process? And what you say? What stops the flow in the business?
Yes.
All right. Good. So I'm assuming she's like. So what is the trigger? Like here on this map, down at the bottom where it says accept the cost, yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
And I think like if we, how can
right.
I say? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If the customer, there is a cost associated with these email data requests, and if the customer does not want to accept the cost, then in this process, the process ends.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I get it. So I mean that as we're walking through the process, right? Somebody wants to submit an email, they have to pay for it. And if they get to the point where we go through all this and be like, okay, here's the price, and they say, well, we don't want to pay that price, then that's it.
Right. Right. But, that's in this process. Others might, depending on the business owner, might offer an alternative product, a cheaper one.
So how would that work in this scenario? Like when it says accept the cost, yes or no, how would you include an alternative?
In this process, there is not an alternative because this is a government entity. But let's just pretend like it's a commercial business. So, okay, accept the cost. No, that would lead to another decision diamond. And it would go into another swim lane, whoever is responsible for sales, for example. You could have another swim lane of sales and accept the cost. No, I don't want to pay that much. Okay, well, we have an alternative product. It's not going to give you all of the features of this product. So you have another decision diamond that says offer alternative. And then you come back up to the customer swim lane and it's again, accept the cost. And if they do, then you go, I would have a predefined process that goes into, whatever is involved in selling that product. Or, if they don't want to accept the alternative, then it's no. It depends on how many alternatives you have. I mean, if you offer like packages and you offer 5 different kinds and you try to sell the most expensive one first and they don't want it, then you got to go through all the 5.
Wow.
So that's really a sales process. And actually, I wouldn't even put that on this map. I would actually, after this accept the cost, I would go into a subroutine that's square with the lines in it to, and call it something else and go into an alternative sales or something else process. I would link to this, but I would go into another process because you really don't want your process maps to be too huge. I know I showed a really big one, but really want to limit it to 1 page if you can, and just link out, to others. And the tool that I use, Visio, you can do that, and probably other tools too. But yeah, just depends if you want to have alternatives. That's what I love. My favorite shape actually is a decision diamond because it makes you think, well, okay, what if they don't want to pay that much? What am I going to do? Lose the sale? Am I going to completely let this customer walk out the door, or am I going to try to work with them and offer them some other package or deal?
Okay. Let's see what else. I don't want to be greedy. Christian, we got anything else?
Another question. It says, why does this take so long to create it? You mentioned months.
They don't always have to take that long, but the thing is that when you get all the different individuals involved to start talking about what they're doing, it depends on how honest people want to be. And I'm not saying that people are being deceptive. It's like being honest with yourself, because sometimes people feel that if there's something that shows up on the process map that shows them in an unfavorable light, they get real defensive because they feel like, oh, you're like airing my dirty laundry. You're like showing people that, I'm not managing this correctly and I'm not managing my staff. And how dare you, put this on this map. And, people get really sensitive about it. And I can understand that because, it's a very, it exposes things, it exposes things that have been happening that need to be discussed. It's like meeting with your family and talking about difficult subjects you don't want to talk about. And that's the same thing. So, if people come in with the attitude, if management usually sets the tone and says, hey, we're going to do this. I want everybody to be transparent. I want us to work together. Nobody's going to be, nobody's going to be reprimanded for whatever comes out in this meeting, but let's get this hammered out so that we can be better for the future. That helps a lot.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is even with ourselves, right? Even when we dealing with just the sole proprietor, the single member LLC, when it's just that individual in the business, we have to be extremely honest with ourselves. If not, the process map won't even work.
Right. And what a lot of people will do, which is they will, instead of talking about what the process currently is, they want to say what it's supposed to be. And you have to start where you're at.
Okay.
You have to start where you are at currently and then discuss like, okay, so what do we need to tweak? What do we need to do? Let's look at the snapshot of where we are today. And a lot of times, when people start talking about it, they're like, well, that's not supposed to work that way. This is how, but is it doing that? Is that what's happening now? And that's what we have. That's the first thing we need to map. Let's look at what, like the example of the month-end process, right? She was very open and honest and very, genuine about everything going on. But then, she saw me putting all of these shapes in her swim lane and said, wow, I'm doing a lot. So we were capturing where her department is today. And she didn't even realize, that she was doing all of this and that she has an accounting clerk who's not really doing that much.
So did that expose much about her? Like some people in management position, I'm gonna raise my hand and be transparent. I'm speaking of myself here, have a problem with delegation, even though they have a full team. But there's a problem with delegation because, before I was a one-man show, I managed a full team, but I'm a perfectionist. So I was like, hey, if it ain't gonna be done the way I want to be done, I'd rather do it myself.
Well, okay, I'm glad you brought that up because she worked alone for a long time. And then her company got her some help, but she did not prepare for having a new person. And she just kept doing what she always did and just gave, this person like issue refunds, run this little report, reconcile credit card statements. I mean, little stuff like that. And she was doing all these things. Now, several of these tasks could have been delegated, but she was just so much in the habit of it. And anybody who has worked in accounting knows that, everything, you've got to get that month through that month end, and it's just a monthly cycle and it can be brutal, and who has time to stop and train somebody? But she could take something like this and show management and said, I really need to, be better at delegating. Maybe I need time to train this person. I mean, it's something they have to solve. you know, and then that's another process map is how can I set aside time to train my new accounting clerk? That's a problem that needs to be solved.
Okay, okay. Look, real quick, I know we probably got about 13 minutes left. If that, I want to put it out there for us to give a call if anybody wants to call in. Where is there we go. I'm put this up here on the screen here. So look, appreciate Ms. Donna coming on here, giving us a process map, man. I really hope that you understood how important the process map is. Like I said last week when I was telling the story, to have somebody close doors on their business because they didn't understand how to get it done. They couldn't see, okay, here's where I'm having an issue with, kind of like what Maria asked, like, okay, is the issue the starting point? And we agreed that it is, but identifying that issue and then being able to walk through the steps, like, okay, how do we get from the issue to the resolution, right? And to me, a process map based on what we've seen is like, wow, the absolute easiest way to do this. So again, the phone number is there. Remember the rules, be respectful, always stick to the topic, and you probably get in about 1 or 2 questions. So if you want to give us a call, like I said, the number is there for you to give us a call, and we shall be waiting for you there. So thank you, Ms. Donna, so much for that information. So while we wait on the call, if any calls are going to come in here, I'm going to ask a question for me personally. I got a lot of things, lots of things happening, and so many things happening that I think that sometimes it's crippling me. Like sometimes I look at me like, man, I got so much to do. I sit there possibly for maybe hours trying to figure out where do I even start with everything that's on my plate. And I realize that somehow, some way, let me do this here. Now that you're back, I'm going to be back. Oh, where'd he go? Did we lose you? Okay. But yeah, so I got a lot going on, right? Like I said, it's crippling because sometimes I will sit there for hours, which is very unproductive. And I try to find, okay, where am I going to start? So I guess my issue is first, I got to define it as an issue. Like, is it the fact that I'm unorganized? Is it the fact that I got too many irons in the fire? Is it the fact that, I just need to choose one thing and go from there, even though I feel everything is important? I mean, this therapy session. How would we map that process out?
Okay, let's start with one thing. Like, can you be more specific about one thing that, like, what's the main thing out of everything you just said? Like, just name one thing.
That's course creation. There. I have 2 courses I'm working on simultaneously at the same time, trying to update the tax course, then create the new business course. And it's just, a lot.
Okay.
But the issue
So
is,
you're
I guess, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, I want to hear what you have to say.
No, so I guess the issue is like, it's so much that actually going to it, sometimes I just get bogged down and like trying to figure out, okay, what, like even right now, just thinking about it, it just really blanks my mind now. Like, okay, where do I start? Do I want to start maybe one course, then record, or do I want to finish all the courses, then record all of them at the same time, and then I do the editing? Do I delegate the editing? Do I, all the, I'm out of breath. Creating the PowerPoint that goes into it, trying to do the B-roll, yeah. I guess my issue is, where's even my starting point?
Your starting point. Okay, so course creation. do you have a pressing need right now for a specific course that needs to be created? Like,
I'm gonna say
is
yeah.
there,
You know, now think about it. I think the business course is probably more important than the tax course because I have more people asking me about starting businesses than they are about taxes.
okay, out of that, is there one topic that takes priority?
Um, Branding right now, branding the business.
Okay.
Course creation, business. Okay.
All right, so we'll just draw that, but we don't need that. So branding course, the branding course
Mm-hmm.
or class course. All right. And do you have that already like started, or is it an update, or is it brand new?
It's brand new.
Okay. All right. So it's new. Okay. Um New. Okay. So if you have a new course, that's going to take some time to develop. So one of the things you need to ask yourself is, do you want to focus on this one, or do you want to focus on low hanging fruit? Like, you have courses that need to be updated that are not priority topics.
Right, right.
Well, this is updates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, these I'm assuming will take less time than creating a course from scratch.
Yeah, because it's pretty much already done. I'm
Mhm.
just going in, like I say, tax laws have changed, so I want to kind of make sure that those updates are reflected in the course.
Okay, tax laws is something that is public information. Do you have to be the one to make these updates based on tax laws?
I don't have to be. I just want to be.
Okay, so a tax law is not something that lives in your head. The branding course is something that's in your mind.
Right.
So what I'm looking at here is that you've got updates that need to be made based on tax laws that you could delegate that to someone to help you with. While they're doing that, you can have oversight of it and then work on your proprietary type, material that's in your brain right now that you need to really focus on. Because tax laws, I mean, that's just a matter of providing the information, finding someone who can understand it and use, like, your design that you already established, and just update tax laws in your training materials.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
So look, that's my own little process map. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that.
Oh, it's horrible. We're just kind of scribble scratching.
Well, still,
But
it's
I
my
mean,
own little process map. So hopefully, now that I know that, I mean, again, production and efficiency being the key, being able to look at that helps me make a decision. And to me, that's the beauty of a process map. It's like now you can see it from an aerial view, and there's a decision like right there. To me, the decision happens right at the priority. Right? It's like, is it
right,
priority? Yes or no?
Mhm. Right, and really, we missed a step because it could have been, do you have to do it? But do you have to be the one to do it? But we revealed that just talking through it, and you see this is drawn in parallel. So while these two things can happen in parallel, you just need someone to help update the tax law information in your training materials while you work on new material
Gotcha.
based.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah, because the tax law is something that's not something that, you know I mean, that's not something that you have to come up with, use your own creativity and use your own. That's just something that already exists that someone can just look at and update.
That's true. That
Mhm.
that that is true. Well,
Yeah.
I guess hopefully ain't nobody asking no question. I ain't heard Christian say nothing. But how would we use process mapping for when something didn't go right? Like, for example, a friend of mine who had to close their business. Like, is it at that point too late?
No, it's worth it to examine what happened and retrace your steps to figure out what went wrong. He might think he knows what went wrong and he might very well be correct, but he might actually not really know like the whole story, because he has so much emotion tied up in it right now.
True, true.
But to look at it, it might reveal some things to him of where things started to go wrong, where things got really risky, because that's another thing you see on a process map is where the risk starts to happen. And then you see where nothing was done to mitigate it.
Gotcha.
And it just got worse and worse. It's very valuable to go through that exercise after I hate to use this word, but after a failure.
Oh, we got to, it is what it is, right? It happens.
So it doesn't happen again.
Right. That's absolutely the point. Make sure it don't happen again.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Man, well, I think I don't have anything else. Does anybody else have anything else? I think you pretty much you probably just gave them a bunch of information. Now they gonna go back and try to do what you did with the process maps, right? Because that's what we all want to do is make sure that we are extremely efficient, make sure that we don't miss anything, and having that aerial view is definitely gonna help. But I can't wait to go put some process maps in place. As a matter of fact, can you show us one more time another example of just a simple one? I just want to get that visual, like a real simple process map.
Sure. Let me pull my, hold on. Okay, hold on, it's doing this weird thing. And pull that over. All right. So a simple one. Well, we can let's go back to this one. Let's open that up. Okay.
Now you say this is simple. How was this a simple process map? Because I guess we have a starting point. Okay, I see where we start.
Okay, well, I can pull up the other one. Hold on. I'll tell you what. We'll just do this one. It's kind of unique anyway. All right. So this one is like a software design sort of process map, but it's very easy to follow. You have a website, a transaction happens. The website redirects to another URL that handles transactions for you. Okay. And then it's approved or declined. And then it returns via verification to the website. And then there's a final transaction and it executes via an API. So it's like kind of more conversational, I guess. So this is pretty simple.
Okay. So the website is the starting point.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then it starts, so we start at the website and then we go right to redirects to, or
if a transaction happens on the website, it redirects to like a hosted page that handles payments.
Like Square, PayPal, Stripe, something like that. Okay.
Something to handle credit card payments.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And see, there's all these variables like here where this pink is. There's all these different variables like amount authorized on card, authorization code, batch number, card type, CVV, error code, mask card number, name, approval declined. So all of these variables are involved in this part here.
And looking at this, this helps, like say, it helps with what, so to speak. Like if we didn't have this, where could the error, where could we go wrong at without this map?
Well, you need to have all the right variables in place, especially with the way things are now with credit card data, the PCI DSS rules that are in place and things like that. Um, you got to be really careful with the way that you handle credit cards. So a lot can go wrong, like here, and then also like especially here, your embedded page where payments are processed, if that's not secure, and depending on how many transactions you're doing, like the dollar amount, if that doesn't comply with the payment card industry security standards, you could all the major credit cards could say, well, you can't accept our credit card anymore, and then you lose business.
Gotcha, gotcha. Oh man, I just had another question. I know we passed 7 o'clock, but I just really had a question here. Last question for me, at least. What data do we need in order to create a process map? Like if we want to do this on our own, what I know we know the issue, but what other
Mm.
information are we going to need to create or begin to create our very own process map?
I always think start with the roles, the people who are involved. Start there. Who all is involved and what are they doing? And then what are they supposed to be doing? Well, so you start with what are they currently doing and look at how that compares to what you expect them to do, what they're supposed to be doing. But start with who's involved. Even look at what systems are involved in your process to
Okay.
try to find out if there's any hangups there. Like on this one, the hosted page for handling payments. What if there's a problem here? Look at any database you use, any could be your internet provider. You might have slow internet, or it's unreliable, or there's a problem and that's causing you issues in your business. You might have an office in a building that has thick concrete walls and your Wi-Fi is all messed up, um, things like that. So there, your landlord is involved because I do know personally of a case where, a landlord promised Wi-Fi and the building was very old with very thick walls and the tenants were not able to get the Wi-Fi they were promised and it caused a lot of problems. So you have to look at, that's a role. The landlord is a role, um, you know, and you, and how do we solve this problem? So look at who's involved
Gotcha. Okay, so we know the
and look
issue.
and look at the inputs and the outputs, and what's the goal? What's the goal of your process map? Is it to plan a new service offering that and you just want to think through how are we going to accomplish this? Is it to just walk through a problem? It doesn't always have to be a problem. It could be just planning something. And also another very, very good use of process maps is starting point for writing your standard operating procedures. And several companies have standard operating procedures because they're going to be audited, or you just need them, for your employees, or you want to sell your business, but the buyer wants to know how everything works and what are all of your procedures. You need to
Gotcha.
have that ready. And the best place to start is with the process. And I'm going to show you how. So let me close that. So if you start with like this one, let me open that up again. Okay, so if we wanted to write the procedures of how to do all of these things, like if I want to write, how does the server administrator create a discovery accelerator case? What are the steps? Well, each of these blocks is a set of steps. Each of these blocks is a set of procedures. So this is the hard part, knowing the sequence of things. And then after that, you just need to write the procedures. So like the records officer, okay, records officer, how do you receive and evaluate the request? What are your steps for doing that? So process maps are a great starting point for writing your procedures.
Gotcha. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Makes sense, man. Well, I'm excited. I can't wait to go. And again, I know we got a lot of resources out there. Um, I tried to put the resources in the description, but I don't think they came across as URLs. So what we are going to do is, I know we agreed to, we're going to do something. We're going to figure it out. Well, we create a landing page. Donna, if you want to come back on and, so we can, I guess, close out, so to speak.
Okay.
But I know we can also here. Let me just put her back on the screen here because here we are. So if we could maybe just, if you want to share with us, how do we get in contact with you in case we have any further questions? Your Facebook, your Instagram, your all that. How do we get in contact with you here?
Okay, so here's my contact information. I'm sharing my screen.
All right. We see you.
Yeah. So so just to let you know, I need my own process map because I need to set aside time to create my website, which is not done. So like I also need to, drink my own Kool-Aid, I guess. And so like I do have an Instagram. And you on my Instagram, you will see me having a lot of fun with Canva because I have discovered Canva and my life has not been the same ever. Oh my gosh. So like you'll see all that stuff on there. And then I have a Facebook, and on my Facebook, I have my services page, which lists, the different services that I offer right now. And you can contact me at brilllance.com. And there is my phone number. Feel free to contact me there too.
All right. All right. Well, man, so thank you so very much, man. I'm excited that you came on and you blessed us with such great information, man. I hope that what we saw tonight can really change your life, right? That's the goal. We want to make sure that you have all of the tools ready and available at hand so you can go ahead, create your process maps, take an aerial view of your current business structure. Is there something that's missing? Right. And again, Don, and you can help, back me up on this, that if there's something that they're not satisfied with, right, they can do that aerial map and they will see it. Right. They can take a look and say, man, maybe I'm spending too much time but not making a lot of money. Well, if you put it in a process map, you can kind of see where that's happening at and make that correction. If you are saying that whatever it is not going the way you want it to go, put it on that process map, make that aerial view, map it out, look at it. But like she said, you have to be honest with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, it's just not going to work. Just not going to work at all. So, yeah, make sure you do that. I'm not going to keep talking because I get excited about this kind of stuff. And we are at or beyond our 7 o'clock mark this evening. So, anything, I'm going to just say appreciate everybody who joined us this evening. So grateful. Thank you again, Miss Gimme Cornbread. Miss Donna, we now know we have a face with the name. So excited, so just so honored, man, and grateful that you have decided to grace us this evening. I can never thank you enough. Appreciate it. And man, yeah, for all of those who joined, we appreciate you. Even those who watching the replay, I appreciate you. Any questions, you can leave it in the comment. If it's for Donna, leave it in the comment. I'll make sure that she gets it. But she did give you her contact information, so feel free to reach out to her if there's anything that you need to get done, and we go from there. So, Ms. Donna, I'm going to let you end it since you are the teacher for tonight. I'm just a student, so you can go ahead and end it. What is this?
Thanks for joining, everyone. I appreciate you hanging on and listening to my presentation, and hopefully you learned something. And please feel free to reach out to me with any questions or guidance. I do offer this as a service, but if it's a basic, sort of generic question, of course, I'll be happy to answer that without, making it a fee-based thing. You know, of course, and we're all family here. And I hope again that I'm not the last person to reveal myself and share my knowledge, because we all have knowledge to share in our community here. So let's all please share and work together so that we can all be successful in our businesses.
It sounds like she calling y'all out. Sound like she calling a few people out to come on here and share, show their face and share. Right? That's gonna be the show your face and share challenge, and Donna has initiated that. So who we gonna call out next? Who can? We'll see. I'm gonna maybe next week we'll probably start picking on some folks and tell them to come on to the show and get things started. So yeah, all right, cool. Well, look, everybody. I don't know. I think that's it. Nephew got something to say? He want to say anything back there? Let me see. Let's see what nephew doing really. Look at it. Look at that. Like just lounging. They don't even want to. You know what? I don't even want to deal with him no more.
I'm upset.
Oh, you're off mute now. We can hear you.
See, you having your mute. I'm upset. But I hope everybody had a great night. You know, a lot of information give. There was a lot of people in the comments saying thank you for the information, and it was very helpful too. But I just want to say, you know, hope everybody had a great night and it was a great show. And yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm getting rid of you then. All right.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you so much.
Yes, thanks for him. But anyway, so yeah, that's it for me. I'm good. Ms. Donna, you know, again, can never thank you enough. Appreciate you. And hopefully this won't be the last time, because you are full of information. This was just one facet of everything that I know you can do. You know, maybe you have to join us again when we talk about SEO, you know, because you are a ghostwriter as well, right? So when you're writing for people, bringing traffic to their website based on your words, based on you not even really knowing about the topic, but they can give you a topic and you can sit up here and do your own research, understand what it's about. You speak it in their language so it seems natural to their website. But you have to come back and tell us how you do that and how you use SEO to drive traffic to other people's website when you write for them. Like I said, so many talents that you have. So I'm excited to be able to say that I know you and to have you here, and I hope everybody that's watching got a blessing. So I think that's it for us, right? Nothing else, no more. We good?
Yes.
All right. Well, look, fam, let me just say good night to everybody. Appreciate you being here. So again, if you want to, if you're new to the channel and you like these kind of things, make sure you press that subscribe button, hit the bell icon. Follow both of us on Facebook, both me and Donna. Okay, we're on Facebook. She gave you her information. You see mine. And until the next time we meet again, man, y'all have a profitable week. Indeed. We are no longer streaming. All right, Donna. Somebody said Donna is the queen of creativity, routing, and mapping ideas. Thank you for sharing. This was excellent. How about that?
Awesome.
Got a gate process. Yeah, man, you had a lot of good comments.
Yeah, people were shy though. I wish somebody would have called in. That would have been.
It would have been nice, but you know, some people are not. I don't know. Whatever. It was a good show.
All right, good.
It was a good show. You know, I appreciate. Like I said, I can never thank you enough for coming on here, sharing. Oops, I forgot to turn off the record. I recorded it too, just in case.